nice having you on the show, Evan.
Nice to be
And,
here.
you've been in martial arts over 40 years, and I'd just like to know what first got you started in martial arts.
Well, I lived in a pretty tough section of town, and my apartment was over a bar. And it was a bar for 40-plus-year-olds, divorcees, trying to get other divorcees. Anyway, there was always a parking conflict because it was tight parking. And I heard a scuffle outside one day, and I looked out my window, and I was on the first floor above street level. And these two guys get out of their car over a parking space. One guy has a pipe in his hand, takes the other guy out with the pipe. And I figured, okay, if I'm going to live here, I better learn how to defend myself better. Yeah. So that basically started it.
Yeah. And I know you started in judo and quickly added Wing Chun. And then you went through a range of other martial arts from Kempo, Jiu-Jitsu. Do you think it's important to cross-train in martial arts, or is it good to get a strong foundation in one art first?
Well, cross-training will never hurt you. As a matter of fact, that's what our organization does right now, is we try to get every art in so we know how everybody moves, what they like, what they prefer is their weaponry or their tactical skills or their tactical mindset. And so, yeah, I recommend cross-training for sure, but I'm a professional, so I had to know what was out there also. So that's what spurred me on to go into a lot of different arts too.
Yeah. You also went on and got your degree in education and became a teacher. And
yes, I have a degree in education, and that was prior. It was during the beginning stages of my career, and prior to me becoming a professional martial artist. Yeah. But I'm still a teacher.
Yeah. Do you think that changed your view of martial arts?
Well, not really. I like the physical action, and I'm supposed to be an art teacher. So creativity is sort of one of the things that I focus on and try to develop things and see things that other people don't see. So seeing different arts is just part of what I was all about.
Yeah, creative. You actually started Kusho International in 2003, I think. And
right. Well, I started it before. I started the curriculum way before, and I'd been working on the curriculum and had this idea, and I just made it public in 2003.
Public in 2003. What motivated you to go the Kusho route and sort of start a Kusho organization?
Well, to go the Kusho route, first of all, I felt it. Okay, and as Wally J used to say to us, feeling makes believers, or pain definitely makes believers, but feeling the pain makes the believers. Yeah. So that's what got me so interested in Kusho, because, as a martial artist, you do a lot of sparring, you do a lot of grappling, you get hit a lot, you get your knocks, you get your whatever, but I never felt anything like that. So that's why I went into Kusho. And as an educator, I noticed that the Kusho world needed a curriculum, because there was no curriculum. Everybody was just out there doing the Wild West, and all well and good, because a lot of great things came to the table. But it needed to be systematized, because most people's educational way is to have a logical stepped curriculum.
Yeah, I know you started in TCM along with George Dillman. And then you've kind of moved into the anatomical structure side of things. What's got you interested in studying it from an anatomical viewpoint?
Well, a long time ago, George Dillman was working with some nerves. As a matter of fact, one of his very early videotapes, he's talking about the nerves of the arm. And then along the way, someone in his organization came up with the idea of doing the pressure points, and they were doing very well with their little group of seminars and whatever they were doing. So of course everybody cross-trained back then, so George Dillman picked up on it, and that's where he went off. But it never left my mind that we were hitting real structures, and it made more sense. But having a background in being a shiatsu practitioner, a tuina, which is Chinese shiatsu basically, and a Qigong therapist, I understood the TCM version. So I went with it because everybody was talking about it at the time. So it was easier to communicate.
Yeah. And what's your viewpoint on the TCM model now? Many years
Well,
down
you
the
know,
line.
you get good results with TCM because you're hitting the fascia and you're sending a small electrical signal. Because the fascia is, for most people that don't understand it, are wrappings around the muscles, in between the muscles. It's connective tissue. And it does have an electricity component or a bioelectrical component to it. So it can send messages. However, when you strike the main nerve components, you're going to get a much sharper and acute message sent into the central nervous system in the brain. So it works to a much greater extent.
Yeah, I can attest to that now.
Yeah.
So I felt it.
Yeah.
As you said, you do the healing arts as well, the shiatsu and that, and I know they're heavily based in TCM. Do you think the Kusho International sort of model could improve the research under the traditional Chinese healing arts as well?
Well, I wouldn't be so bold as to state that, but we do our own healing methodology, and it does work great. Now, we developed our healing methodology out of the need because we were dropping people. We were stopping them from breathing. We were stopping them from normal physiological function. And we had to find a quick resuscitation for that person. And it's not just the old slap in the back of the neck that you see other people do on so many YouTube videos. Yeah. Yes, that works to a basic degree, but it doesn't address the slower blood pressure. Okay, it doesn't release the nausea, the difficulties that a person, like headaches and other ramifications that can come from being traumatized on your nervous system or blood system.
Yeah, I know Kusho's got a lot of aggro in the past now about it being effective in street situations. Do you think the anatomical version of Kusho is more usable in a street confrontation? I know the low pressure points, it was very hard to get that specific point.
So, right. Well, one of the other problems with the pressure points is everybody sees the pressure point charts, and it's a two-dimensional drawing and not that great a drawing. Okay, and what they see is this little dot on someone's arm or wherever on their body, and they go and they try to hit that dot. Okay, well, that has a couple problems. First of all, it's not a surface structure. It's a deep structure. A nerve is going to be laying underneath the skin, yes, but also in between or under muscles, in between bones, tendons, ligaments, things like this. And you have to get a deeper penetration. So understanding the depth of the structure you're trying to attack and the trajectory that you have to send the message along, that's not related in the pressure point Kushos. All right, it is related with us because we are tracing the nerves. We understand we have to send an acute electrical message to the brain centers that controls whatever physiology we're trying to dysfunction. So it's a lot easier too because a pressure point's about that big. It's about the size of a coin. Whereas a nerve, I mean, this facial nerve here, where you're trying to hit basically stomach 5, most people just aim for here. Okay, we have this whole line, this whole 5-inch line that we can attack as long as we know the depth of penetration, what structures are surrounding, overlaying, or surrounding, and we just can attack easier.
Yeah, perfect. Where would you like to see Kusho go in the future, in the next 5-10 years, maybe?
Well, where I see it going, not where I want it to go, because what I want is irrelevant. Okay, what I see coming is everybody will be doing Kusho eventually, if people still keep propagating it. Okay, but you see the mainstream people. There are very popular martial artists that have huge YouTube channels, huge followings, and whatnot. They're starting to get into the Kusho. And you can understand by looking at their videos, they need a lot more education before they start going off and telling people about this, because they're not really giving them great information. But the thing is, they are adopting it because they understand that it's real. It's been around too long. It's had too much success, and too many people are doing it. And these teachers are understanding that their students are getting this information online.
Yeah.
So they have to start studying it to keep up with their students. So it's going to perpetuate. There's no. I think we've passed that mass. What's it called? The point, the tipping point.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely on the mainstream now. I took my two daughters to see a movie last year, and
Right.
it was an animated movie. And in the opening scene, they had a character voiced by Will Smith, actually referring to the vagus nerve, and actually hitting it with one of the G hands, the iron bone hand, to
really?
cause a knockout. And I think I've actually posted a clip onto the forum of the Kusho International site now, so it's there somewhere.
Yeah. There's we had ties in with the supposedly with the third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie also, but that fell apart for whatever reason. But it was going to be featured in it. Yeah. But it didn't. But you look back at the old Kung Fu TV series with David Carradine. Yeah. There are some nerve attacks in there. You see it way back in Jackie Chan's movies. So it's always been around. It's in Steven Seagal's movies in a couple of frames. Yeah. So it's always been there.
Yeah, I've seen it in a lot of the big UFC fights as well, and they don't seem to have the understanding of it, of what's happening, but it's there. It's
right. One of the guys, Chuck Liddell, wrote in his book that he trained a target on the jaw. Yeah. All right, and I brought this up to many people, but they're on the YouTube comments. When I do release something that says that, there's always a dispute. How can you say that? And they didn't even read the guy's book, because he knew it. Yeah. And a while back too, I read a Playboy article, because I did read it for the articles. It was a story about Oscar de la Hoya, just about to go into the de la Hoya and Vargas fight, which was a really popular fight many years ago. But he was talking about targets on the head and targets in the body that he knew would cause a knockout. That's Kyusho. Yeah. And so is a liver punch.
Yeah. There's so many techniques out there that people just don't have the depth of understanding to actually understand what's the internal function that's happening.
Sure. Well, it's the labels too. Most people go by labels. Kyusho is kind of a funny word. It's a Japanese term, so if you're a Chinese stylist, you might just push it to the side because it's not a Chinese style per se. Boxing, they're not going to accept the Japanese terminology. They're going to say a sweet spot on the jaw, or a glass jaw, or a liver punch, or something like that. So a lot of people are having difficulty getting past their styles terminology or their mental preferences.
Definitely. Finally, where can people get in contact with you, Evan, if they're looking to start in Kusho?
Oh, yeah, they can just go to Kusho.com, and there's a way to contact us on that page. There's videos there. There's a lot of free information. There's a discussion panel. So that would probably be the easiest way.
Yeah, that's perfect. It was excellent having you on, Evan. Thanks very much.
Well, it's good seeing you, Emmett, and congratulations on your success with your Kusho so far, and I hope it keeps going for you.
Hopefully. Thanks very much now.